All right. So, what do you want to work on today?
I've been playing a bit of Even Paladin,
Okay.
just uh, just starting from yesterday. So, wouldn't mind starting on that.
Yeah, for sure. Can you link me the list that you're using?
Okay, one sec.
All right.
I'll link it to you on Discord, so it's easier. I'll just link it in Discord.
Okay, that works.
Yeah, just the code at the end.
Okay. So this is the standard po or pre-nerf even paladin list from what it's looking like. Um,
Yeah, I took
post-nerf.
out. Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say I took out tiger, the tiger which you put a spell on it and then summon a minion of equal cost.
Mhm.
Just because I thought it didn't really fit in an aggro deck. I feel like even Paladin's more aggro than. Oh, it's mid range, but I think it's more aggro than late game, and I thought it was really clunky.
Okay, I feel that. I do, from what I've experimented with in even paladin, I came to the conclusion that one is pretty good, just because in the late game going Spirit of the Tiger into like Spiked Ridge or Blessing of Kings and stuff like that is pretty big. But
Sure.
I'm definitely not opposed to taking it out, so I don't feel too bad about that. I'm just scrolling through seeing if there's anything else we're missing that's like pretty major.
Other one was um, I seen a couple lists just run the Mojo Master. This one's just
Yes.
the list I took off. Compay just read it. It was like a tournament deck, so it's probably not even that suited for ladder. Um, yeah, it's a
Yeah.
pretty generic list. I wanted to play it a few times before I made any like decisions with like tech choices and whatnot.
Okay. Let's stick with that plan then, and we'll play a little bit with this list, and then we will talk about things we can change up.
Sure.
Cool. All right. So just hop in a game, and then I'll jump in spectator for you. Even Paladin is not too difficult of a deck to learn, which is good. There's like every deck has its nuanced plays, but Paladin, it's mostly straightforward.
Yeah, I feel like I haven't really. Um, I've played even Paladin a couple times. Like it's definitely like not the hardest deck. I think it's just like basics of like when to trade and when to like how to mulligan and whatnot.
Yep. A lot of it comes down to mulligan decisions, how to manage your resources in the mid game, because essentially
Mm.
turns 3 to like 7 is where you
Mm-hmm.
really get to make your big push.
Yeah,
All right, so what you think about this? I'm thinking we probably throw everything away.
yeah.
Cool.
Uh, you like usually I just want minions. Like the only thing I would consider would be like Tarim, but I think it's a bit too slow.
Okay, so we don't have the best hand versus odd, but at least we have a consecration, and then our hero power is going to be able to contest fairly well.
Yeah,
I would say overall, odd paladin is probably a pretty good matchup for us. We
yeah.
have stuff
I
like
think it's like 50-50 because like if they get a crazy like divine shield or if they get a Tarim or something they can swing, I would usually just play their hydrologist. Yeah.
yeah, I'm okay with that.
I think Eye for an Eye is garbage. Repentance is probably garbage. Probably only Matrix.
Yep, I would definitely go with Matrix. Eye for an Eye
And then
is not going to
Punch.
do anything, and then
Yeah.
Repentance will most likely just hit like a 1 health minion anyway. Um,
Yeah, I would just punch you.
I would punch, yeah, just get rid of the Divine Shield. There's not too many buffs you have to play around, but he might have like Blessing of Might, and then he would get a free trade on your Hydro.
Yeah,
So
or the +1 from the minion, like, and get a value trade into the 2/2.
there we
Yeah,
go. Yeah, so we played around
you would have
this.
got punished. Yeah.
All right. So what you thinking here?
I think like there's two players. One, I could play the Hero Power Crystal Smith Gangle. I could play the Secret Crystal Smith Gangle. Both are fine. It's just because if he trades, then I think the one essentially 1/3 is good on board right now.
Yeah, I think I think that your better play is probably Kangor with the auto defense matrix and then doing this trade. So you trade
Yeah.
down, which feels a little bit bad, but the way that auto defense matrix interacts with minions with divine shield already is he'll attack, it'll proc the divine shield, then he'll attack again, and then you'll get the secret one. So he actually
Yeah.
can't. He'd have to trade very specifically to play around auto defense matrix to kill your
Oh,
Kangor.
wow, this guy.
Let's see if he trades correctly. I would assume he would just go for the 2. Yep, so he traded wrong, which is very good for us.
So he can't clear my board, but he's gonna get a couple of spells.
Yeah, so he's gonna get 3 total. I would assume he throws this 1/1 in.
Yeah.
Really? Interesting. Okay.
We can just swing it with the weapon, right?
Yeah, so we just weapon down the cauldron and then take the free trade. Now that Odd Paladin kind of got gutted with level up being nerfed, we have to worry about the Frostwolf Warlord. So
Yeah.
basically the new deck tech for Odd is they run 1 to 2 Witch's Cauldrons and then 2 of the Frostwolf Warlords in place of level ups.
Yeah.
But
It's still a pretty solid deck in my opinion. But yeah, this matchup's not too bad. So.
Yeah, no, this matchup, we got through the like first 2 or 3 turns, which is really what matters, because going forward we can stabilize really easily.
Just Hero Power, Decker.
Yep.
And then swing.
Yeah, I would probably swing. There's something to be said for holding it, because it's just a 1/4. But I like clearing, so I would probably clear. But yeah, no, Odd Paladin
like,
definitely is definitely still a very viable archetype. It basically just, instead of having burst tools with level up, you still just get a bigger board, which makes it vulnerable to AoE like Equality Consecrate.
The hell? Did he get that off the? Oh, he got it off the
Off the Stonehill.
I kind of like there's 2 plays. There's Spike Ridge on one of my 1/1s, and then double trade. Nothing would die. I think I like that over like Equality or the Harpy.
Yeah, basically you have 3 plays. You can either Equality and trade a 1/1, but I think that you want to save Equality in case he gets a big Frostwolf Warlord or something in future, so that's out. You can Wind Fury Harpy, but if you do that, then you would just be passing, which is kind of meh. So Spike Ridge is definitely your play. I personally like Spike Ridging on the Corpse Taker, just because you get to make use of the Divine Shield better by getting all your damage in, and you can just trade a 1/1. Because Odd Paladin doesn't typically run Silence, so stacking it all on 1 minion isn't that big of a deal.
I think they run like maybe like 1 copy of L or the Void Ripper, but
Void Ripper
even if
might be common. That's true. I didn't consider Void Ripper, but Void Ripper's been it fell out of favor a bit since the Druid nerf, because you don't have to worry about spreading plague nearly as much anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, okay.
I think here, could develop the Wind Fury Harpy, Hero Power, trade the 1/1. Because I don't think the lifesteal is that important, right? And then jam the 5/9 interface.
Yeah, I think that that's your best play. Um, you
Or do
could.
you think pop the Divine Shield with the 1/1?
Mm, this depends. So it depends on how defensive or how aggressive you want to be. If you want to be very defensive, then I think your best play is to trade both into the Argent Squire. If you want to play a half measure where you get to still get the 5 damage face, then I think you just trade a 1/1.
Yeah, but I mean, like the 1/1 would I pop the Divine Shield or just kill one of the dudes?
If you're gonna hit face with the 5, then you just kill one of the dudes. If you're not
Yeah,
going to hit face with the 5, then you would kill the shield, because then you would also be trading with your 5.
because I was thinking like he could fungal, but doesn't really kill anything. Um, so I think it should be fine. Oh wow,
Oh wow, that's really unfortunate.
yeah, even better than a silence.
Yeah, really. Thinking back a couple turns ago, we could have potentially played around that by spike raging a different target,
Yeah,
but I don't think it's worth trying to play around
yeah,
a randomly generated hex.
he high rolled so hard.
Yeah. He only has one shaman spell left, and then that's most likely the only witch's cauldron in his deck. So,
Mm-hmm.
ooh, that's a weird trade. I'm surprised he went for that.
I like just playing Lich King here.
Um, so I think there's two different lines of play, both of which are fairly good. Just Lich
Consecrate.
Kinging is great. You
Yeah,
could consider going Consecrate Blessing of Kings and then being able to jam face for a lot, but that does kind of strand your equalities. So if you don't want to do that, then I think Lich King is the best play.
yeah.
But considering you just used a Hex, going super aggressive might not be the worst. I think that Lich King is definitely safer though.
I think consecrating and blessing of kings is safer because it gets rid of his board, so he can't like path his dudes up, right?
The only mass AoE buffs that we have to worry about would be a whatever the
Fungal
maul
or
is that gives
the
attack or that gives Divine Shield.
yeah,
If he gets Divine Shield,
yeah,
that's really bad for us. Keeping his board alive would mean he could develop a Frostwolf, but we also already have
yeah,
Equality Consecrate for the Frostwolf. I think I would probably go Consecrate Blessing. Yeah,
yeah.
plays around multiple different
It's not
mauls.
even it's not even like the massive damage I do. It's just the fact that like if he like the only way he comes back in the game is if he buffs his dudes in some way to get some value trades, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think we just win.
I think we just win as well. He would have needed Stonehill, cause that's the only taunt in his deck. Nice.
Yeah, because like even if single target AoE, sorry, single target removal, which they don't really, right?
Yeah,
Say you
they
have
don't
like
have any.
do I go into another one? Sorry.
Oh yeah, we'll play like a game. We'll play like 2 or 3 games with this list, and then we can talk about some possible changes. See how you feel about those, and then we'll jam a couple games with whatever list we decide on.
Sure. Like I was thinking, even if he had another hex, then I could like slam down the Lich King the next turn.
Yeah, I definitely think we made the right play. It was only partially scary because if he somehow was able to deal with our Wind Fury Harpy, then our hand was kind of stranded because we would just have double
Yeah.
equality. But I think that was definitely very good for us.
What would you keep here? I'd probably keep Hydrologist. I don't know if Blessing of Kings is really good against OTK, and Consecration is really good against Odd.
Yeah, so I think we would probably hedge our bets. I would just get rid of True Silver. You're gonna have a turn one with your hero power, a turn two, and then if it's odd, you have Consecrate in your pocket, and then if it's not odd, or if it's a more controlling version, you can always coin out Blessing of Kings on 3.
Sure.
Oh, cool. So if it's a more controlling list, we now have Equality Consecrate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alright, so it's odd. So it's a good thing we kept this Consecrate. Blessing is still probably going to be pretty good, because if we ever get anything to stick, then we get to make a big threat.
Yeah, definitely.
Ooh, okay. This is pretty good. Very reactive, but definitely not bad.
I mean, we still have like, we still kind of play on curve for now, like until turn 4 really, right? So,
Ooh, picking up this Wild Pyro is really good also. I think we just Hydro this turn, though.
yeah.
The Seeker synergy with Wild Pyromancer against Odd is really strong. What do you think about these?
I think Redemption is stronger than Noble Sacrifice, and Hidden Wisdom is kind of okay. I think Hidden Wisdom is not good.
Yeah, so I don't think Hidden Wisdom is good.
Yeah.
Noble Sack and Redemption are pretty similar. Noble Sack I think is overall stronger. Redemption you could try to hit on like a Hydrologist or a Wild Pyro though. The problem is if he ever trades into a 1/1, then you get a 1/1 back. So I think I'd probably just go with Noble.
Okay.
And then I'd proc this Divine Shield. Yep.
Yeah, actually, the only thing like which it would be good on would be if I had something with Divine Shield already, right?
Essentially, yeah. It also would be okay on Wild Pyromancer because he might not play around the fact that it comes back.
Hmm.
I kind of like going Wild and Noble Sack. It'll mostly clear the board, and then the Noble Sack will protect your Wild Pyro.
That's what I was gonna do. Because if he tries to trade, then I just protect it. The only thing he can do is like weapon maybe, but it should be fine.
Him attacking that quickly signals he probably doesn't have a weapon.
Mm-hmm. I really like Blessing of Kings here to protect it.
Yep, I think Blessing of Kings is for sure right. It clears his board and you get a massive threat. And then this also keeps alive the Pyro, which can keep doing the 1 AoE.
Pyro is just so OP in this matchup.
For a long time I was cutting Hydrologists from Even Paladin, but the Seeker synergy with Wild Pyro is really good.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
I see 2 lines.
Alright, what do you see?
Coin into the Wind Fury Harpy, Jam Face. And then the other one is just True Silver and Dude.
Okay. I think that Coin Wind Fury Harpy is definitely our play this turn. It puts on a lot of pressure and helps clear his board up. It's worth considering taking this little trade to try and protect our Harpy, but I think I would probably just still take the 7 damage face.
Yeah, I think it's not that good. Like if he kills Wind Fury Harpy, oh yeah, like even this is fine.
Yeah, this is fine for us. Oh, that's perfect. That was like almost the best draw on our deck. And now next turn we win with True Silver if he somehow gets through this.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's still.
Alright, so we still win.
That's still a win, yeah.
Yeah, you can win with True Silver or you can win with Wild Pyro Consecrate, whichever you want to do. Cool. That was really strong. Wild Pyro is really good in the Odd Paladin matchup, it turns out.
Yeah. To be honest though, I think in other matchups, like getting a Wild Pyro clear is like so hard. because you pretty much like need a quality pyro, but I think it is still strong because like you need another combination of a quality kit, a quality clear that isn't a quality cons. Like it's sometimes even having like pyro into consecrate is like good enough, right?
Yeah, so Pyro's there, because against like super aggressive openings, you can always on 4 have a potential clear with Wild Pyro equality. Wild Pyro is also good in lists which run Hydrologist because you get that little mini synergy there,
Mm-hmm.
and um, basically like your Pyros mean that you have essentially 4 concentrates in your deck is kind of how you can look at it to combo with your
Yeah,
equalities.
yeah. Um,
All right,
I kind
so
of like keeping if it's big spell. I think mostly it's probably odd, but either of the two, I like Corpse Taker and Blessing of Kings.
yeah, so I definitely like Corpse Digger Blessing of Kings. I think you can pretty reliably get rid of Crystal Smith, and then I would keep True
Uh,
Silver. Honestly, I'd be
okay.
okay with just keeping this whole hand. Um, because you have a turn 1, you have a turn 2, you have a potential coin Corpse Taker into Blessing of Kings, or you have a True Silver to answer board
Oh,
if he's odd. So,
oh, oh shit! Sorry, the timer went out.
oh, it's
Um,
okay.
I was also thinking maybe, but there's like anti-synergy because you don't get lifesteal on your Corpse Taker. But having a true drop, it might be greedy because having a true drop is nice.
Now that it's odd, I didn't consider this. Odd means that one ping would be able to kill your Kangor, so I feel
Yeah.
like throwing it back was
Oh,
pretty good.
oh, it would have divine shield, but even then, it's like anti-synergy, right?
Yeah, even then,
It's probably the worst true drop. Yeah.
yeah. Like, the difference between just hero powering this turn and crystal smithing is very minor, so
Yeah.
I feel like it was best to throw it away, so I'm glad that we did. Hopefully he just pings this turn for some reason. If he's really slow, then we get to coin Corpse Taker.
Yeah. I think this is like pretty favored for him, just because like he effectively gets rid of all early game from us because he just pings off everything.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, the true seal was really good here.
Yeah, so I definitely like coin True
Well, I
Silver.
could bless it, but I like the weapon just because he can ping off my 5-2 right.
Yeah, so him being able to ping it if you blessing is bad. Also, I'm trying to, like, best case scenario, we're able to land the Blessing of Kings on the Corpse Taker. So
Yeah.
I play around like pretty heavily trying to get that synergy. Luckily for us, he doesn't have silence removal because he's playing odd. So he might run Owl, but it's not typical. He doesn't have Spellbreaker. He can't run Polymorph. So any of our buffs, like Blessing of Kings and Spikered Steed, are almost always going to stay alive.
Yeah. Um, just a Corpse Taker.
Yeah, I like Corpse Taker.
Nice.
It's worth considering holding your weapon, but I like just clearing.
Because it protects our Corpse Taker, right?
Yeah, it helps play around stuff like Cinderstorm and missiles. It gives it a higher chance of living, and then
Mm.
also it could have if he plays a secret this turn, then it would have been buffed, which also isn't great for us. Basically, anything we can do to protect this Corpse Taker is good because it means that we're able to guarantee Blessing of Kings. So like this
Mm-hmm.
is a great Blessing of Kings.
That's Passing Kings, dude. I don't see any other player.
Yep. And then
Mm.
I'm
Would
trying
I
to
swing
think.
once?
I'm trying to think what kind of removal Big Spell Mage, or not Big Spell, Odd Mage would have. He could have Voodoo Doll,
Uh,
so since he could have Voodoo Doll, I think you hit face once and then trade the 4/4.
yeah. He could, what's it called? He could,
So at least we get some value there. Ooh, getting rid of Fire Eater is pretty good.
Well,
That's fairly weak overall.
it could be vaporize, right? The one where it kills your thing, kills your minion.
Yeah, so he typically Odd Mage only plays Counterspell Explosive Runes, but his Subject 9 drew a shit ton of secrets, so it could be basically anything. So I definitely think you check with the 1/1 first.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So since that happened, I think you definitely just jam for 14 always. And then we're just trying to set up the most resilient board. We do technically have lethal, but it's probably counterspell, or it's potentially counterspell. So if you want, we can try to get lethal with Avenging Wrath, but I think the best play is just to set up a resilient board with like you can go Hydrologist, Wild Pyro, and then a 1/1. Oh, my spectator's broken. I can't see your secrets, so just do whatever you feel's right.
Okay. Yeah, it was a mirror entity.
Okay, mirror entity. So now we know. Yep. Okay. So this is pretty good. We set up a pretty resilient board, and at any point, if he has only one minion, we can equality Avenging Wrath and have guaranteed lethal.
Yeah, like even if he uses what's the 5 mana cost removal?
Dragon's Fury?
Yeah, Dragon's Fury. We can just Avenging Wrath, right?
Yep.
So, and I picked the Secret Redemption.
Yeah, this Redemption, I'm not sure what the other two choices were, but this is definitely one of the top tier secrets you were looking for in this scenario.
Yeah, because like I don't think Divine Shield does anything. Because if he uses Dragon's Fury, then it doesn't proc it, but this would proc. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this procs it. Oh, okay.
Oh, it's probably a Blast Wave.
No, he played it. He played it right.
Oh, it's black. Okay, so we just win with Avenging Wrath and then our minions. Cool. That was a pretty good game for like we played around our resources really well because we in our like turn 3, 4, 5 we had a lot of choices between Corpse Taker, Blessing of Kings, and True Silver, like how we want to play out those resources, and we played them in I think the best possible line. So one of the most important thing about learning Even Paladin is how to navigate your mid-game turns, because that's where you start to make your push from like keeping up with aggro decks into like actually making threats.
Yep.
So I think we had an opportunity at some point to play Blessing of Kings on our 1/1 instead of our Corpse Taker that we hadn't set up yet, and I think that trying to play towards that synergy of Corpse Taker, Blessing of Kings is really powerful and something you should look forward to in like almost every matchup.
Sure.
I think we should jam like one more game with this because we've been fairly dominant with this, and then we can go talk about tech choices, and then after that we can just play a little bit more, and then probably call it a day.
Sure, sounds good. I find Even Paladin does really well into like most aggro decks, and then control it. Control you can sometimes like smoke them, and then other times you can like outvalue them even. It's pretty nuts deck. So.
Yeah, especially because your list runs Valinir. There's not currently a ton of.
I don't run Valinir. I don't run Valinir.
Oh, you don't? Oh, weird. My deck tracker is showing me the wrong deck then.
Yeah.
All right. Against Shaman, it's either even or
Overload.
Yeah, there's Burn Shaman. So I think we probably can kick back the Wild Pyro and just keep both of these two.
Yeah, I like keeping the Ooze for the Doom Hammer.
I like keeping Ooze for either Doomhammer or Lickum, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Wild
Oh,
Pyro is the least useful of those.
yeah. Well, I was gonna say, I've seen the shaman list where they run like three. They end up getting like three snow giants.
Oh yeah, the
And
overload list.
yeah, it's pretty nuts. I like for it once, and I
Alright,
was
so
playing. Oh, sorry. Yeah, go on.
no, you're good. So against Even Shaman, there's two different Even Shaman variants that are around right now. There's the more typical one that runs stuff like Hex and like tries to just value you with minions and stuff like Earthen Might to buff up their minions. And there's also one going around that is a Grand Archivist list where the only spell in their entire deck is Rain of Toads. So on turn 8 they can go 8 mana 4/7 and then get a bunch of toads with taunt, which sets up for like Flame Tongue lethals and stuff like that.
Oh wow, so it's kind of like spiteful, but
Yeah, it's kind of like a better
yeah.
it's like an even spiteful.
Oh, okay.
Um
I would just hydrologist. Yeah.
yep, I think a Hydrologist is good here.
Depending on yeah. Um, I kind of like either noble sack or hidden wisdom.
I think Noble Sack is typically more useful. Hidden
Okay.
Wisdom is okay, but it's pretty much on like the D tier
Yeah.
of
Hit
secrets.
face, right?
Yeah, hit face.
Okay.
Now that he's
Alright.
even, we don't have to worry about Doomhammer. So our Acidic Swamp Ooze, if he ever plays a Lickum, will be really good. This is not the
Mm-hmm.
Grand Archivist version, so now we know that we don't have to play around anything like that.
Mm-hmm. Um, there's two plays. One would be Tempo Ooze with Noble Sack. Um, the other play would be Hero Power Noble Sack. Kind
Oh,
of just like Ooze Noble Sack.
um, I
I
like
run
I
two
like Ooze's
Oozes by
Noble
the way.
Sack as well. Okay, now that I know you run two oozes, this is definitely the right play to go ooze noble sack. Even in the situation where you only run one, Lickum isn't super common in even shaman at the moment because you don't have a lot
Yeah.
of overload, so we wouldn't have really had to play around it.
Mm-hmm.
This sets up really well for a corpse taker though. Hopefully he attacks and like doesn't realize it's noble sacrifice. Cool.
Nice.
People have not been
Yeah,
playing around secrets very well today.
people don't play around Paladin secrets.
All right, so this is the
Um,
oh that's unfortunate draw.
yeah. I still call Seka healer, right?
Yeah, just corpse taker here, and then I would trade this totem
I would
just
trade too,
to
yeah,
play around
because even
flame tongue, earthen might, stuff like that.
yeah, like I'm pretty sure the um against like even shaman I just always trade just to prevent them buffing it up. I would just hero power, force take, trade the 3/2,
Yep,
then jam phase.
that's pretty funny that he silenced one and then we get another one.
Yeah,
This Wind Fury Harpy was a really unfortunate draw because it meant both of our corpse takers missed out on Wind Fury.
yeah. Well, he would have silenced one anyways, but the other one would have had it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. I don't mind just jamming a turn 6 Wind Fury. Ooh, was
What's
that offer?
this?
Was that offer? Then might. No, that's in his deck.
Draw a spell. Okay.
So that means that he has Rain of Toads, I guess.
Yeah.
I can't think of any other even spell.
So how much mana is Rain of Toads?
Rain of Toads is 6, and it'll give him 3 2/4s with Taunt. So I like setting up
Okay.
this Wind Fury Harpy because it has 4 attack,
Yeah, me
and we'll be able to
too.
kill 2 of them. And then I think I would trade Divine Shield and a 1/1 into the
Yep.
3/4.
Just jam face,
Uh,
or
I'm
trade.
I'm okay with just jamming face because we have Consecrate, which will eventually clear up this 0/2.
Yeah. We
And
have one mana off like double consecrate. That would be such a big thing to. We have Argent Commander as well though, so
okay, this is fine. This now means that at any point, if he plays his Rain of Toads, we can get through with double Consecrate, like you were just saying. So that's pretty cool.
how do you like just hero power, Argent Commander into the uh, into the uh, I don't know if I want to keep my Divine Shield. I think the Divine Shield's not that good. I think I just trade the 4/5 into the 0/2, Windfury hop into the 2/2, and then Argent Commander into the 2/3.
I mostly like that. I think that our trading needs a little bit different, but it's pretty good. So yeah, I think you'd always go Argent and Reinforce.
Yep.
You hit 4/5 into the taunt.
Yep.
You hit 4/2 into the into the 2/2. And then I would trade your 3/3 into the 2/3 and keep your Windfury Harpy as healthy as possible.
Ah, true. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I mean, even Shaman doesn't have a lot of AoE, especially because he already used coin, so he can't coin Hagatha.
Yeah.
I think we just
I
win
think
here.
this is lethal, yeah.
Yep. Cool. That's interesting. I haven't seen Reign of Toads or Storm Chaser. That's a really weird list.
Yeah. It seems like, I don't know, that list seems so slow for even Shaman list, right?
Yeah, even Shaman already has a lot of late game because you have Hagatha, Alakir,
Yeah, you have so
Caralos.
much value, yeah.
I don't think you really need to add in that kind of package.
Yeah. And they typically run Lich King too.
Oh yeah, that's true too. All right, cool.
Mm.
So that went really well. I'm gonna go into the collection, and then I have your Paladin list actually pulled up. So let's look at some even cards and see if there's anything we're missing that could potentially be really good. Because there's a couple different ways that you can build Even Paladin. This is definitely the most typical version. I want to start by talking about some tech cards that we can just throw into this one, and then I also want to bring up a more experimental version of Even Paladin that I've been trying out. Some dude on the competitive Hearthstone Reddit had a big write-up on Dragon Even Paladin, so since we're doing everything on Even Paladin, I'll show that to you as well, because that's pretty interesting. Looking at your list, I think that the weakest cards are probably like Argent Protector, Glass Knight, and potentially Tyrion. So we have like 3 slots that we can potentially play with. With those 3 slots, there's some cards we can consider like Spirit of the Tiger. Um, Spirit of the Tiger, Valinir is pretty good. Dino Size is atypical, but not the worst. You can go anti-aggro with something like Belligerent Gnome. Let's see if there's anything else that we're missing that could be really good. If you never know if you're feeling like your 2-drop slot is kind of weird, because you're running double Hydrologist and double Ooze, so you have a lot of 2 health, minions, which in the current metagame you have aggro decks that can deal with 2 health fairly easily. You can always consider just running some 2/3s. So there's 2/3s like the Amani Berserker, there's Plated Beetle. So if you want more defensive 2-drops, those are worth considering. Aside from that, 2-drops are fairly good. You can consider running 1 Vicious Scalehide, because it's okay in the early game, and it also gives your Corpse Takers lifesteal.
Wait, just go hide. Oh, yep, the 1/3?
Yeah. So that guy's okay. I don't like him that much, but he's worth considering. One Defender of Argus has been a tech before, just because going into the late game, the only taunt you really have is Spikeridge Steed, and then like Sunkeeper Tarim. Your list runs more though, because you have both Lich King and Tyrion. But if you wanted to go more mid-rangey, then you could consider that. Sort of in the same vein as Spirit of the Tiger, since it has stealth and it's kind of there just to be a target for Spike Root Steeds and Blessing of Kings, you can consider running the Halftime Scavenger, which is a 4 mana 3/5 with stealth with a little overkill bonus, which is kind of nice. That's if you're running into a more aggressive metagame, though.
Halftime scavenger, game 3. Oh, yep.
I've seen a little bit of experimentation with the Rumble Tusk Shaker, but I think it's just such a bad card that it's not worth considering.
Yeah.
It's okay because it's like it's a decent-ish minion. Like a 3/2 is really bad, but the fact that they have to go through it twice, they aren't incentivized to do that, which means they can set up for buffs. So that's the rationale I've seen behind that.
Right. What happens if you Spike Root Steed it? Do you still keep the death rattle?
Yeah, so if you Spike Root Steed the first one, you still get the death rattle of summon a Stegodon and then summon a 3/2.
Sure.
Most of what we just talked about are kind of either like very minor changes, so like changing up your 2-drops a little, or kind of some more like non-standard, kind of like if you're experimenting cards. Getting into the late game, there's some cards that we're definitely able to consider that are more serious. So I've seen people start running Karen just because there's not a lot of silence and or targeted like hex or polymorph removal right now.
Oh,
So
I don't
Karen's
have
pretty
Karen.
good.
I used to have Karen, but yeah, I've got like no dots at the moment as well.
Oh, okay, no worries. Zihi is also really good because, as you were saying
Yeah,
earlier,
yeah.
control decks you can sometimes run out of gas against. So Zihi helps you delay them and then gives you a couple turns to try to finish off.
Yeah.
Bone Mare is always worth considering, just because you have Wind Fury with your Corpse Taker. Sometimes you have Wind Fury with your Harpy, and then in the late game, if you need taunt, you can go like Hero Power Bone Mare.
Yeah, Bone Mare is nuts. Like, even when I used to play Even Warlock, Bone Mare wasn't that popular. People like I'd run it over Lich King because I just think it's essentially 4 damage on the spot because as long as you have a minion on board, you can like sneak in some extra damage. If you have like a Corpse Taker with or Wind Fury Harpy, you can even do potentially more. Yeah.
And then I threw back your Tyrion, so I'm gonna copy you this list. This is kind of what I came up with when we were talking about different tech choices. But this still keeps the like typical even shell or even paladin shell. So I think I removed like one Avenging Wrath for a Mojo Master. I put in a Bone Mare somewhere. And that's really all I changed.
Sure. Maybe we could try getting rid of one of the oozes for Amani.
Yeah, I definitely think that right now there's not too many weapons going around, so you can definitely like not run 2 oozes. I think overall Amani is probably better than Plated Beetle, but you can also consider Plated Beetle.
I think we have like enough healing.
Yeah, I think we have quite a bit of healing as well. So, but yeah, so that's a pretty good standard Even Paladin list. While we're on the topic of Even Paladin, I'm gonna copy you this list as well. This list is very weird. It definitely has some optimization still to work through.
Have you seen the dragon list?
Yes, so this is the dragon list that I found. I think that it's running some suboptimal cards, so I'm not sure if the original list ran Karen, but I threw in Karen. I'm pretty sure the original ran Skulkengeist, which right now doesn't hit that much, so I'm not too impressed by the Geist. So that opens up a slot. I'm not too impressed with Primordial Drake, but you kind of just need more dragons.
Do you have Bone Drake?
Ooh, Bone Drake. That's one I hadn't considered.
Do you want me to give me your list?
Yeah.
I've been having quite a lot of success with it.
Yeah, sure. If you've got one, let me see that too. But I think that the dragon list is really interesting because you get access to Fire Tree Witch Doctor as well as Ebon Dragonsmith. and then
Yeah,
with that package you get to run the Silver Sword, and Silver Sword's like crazy.
Silver Sword is nuts. Yeah.
So I think that the list we just made is really good if you want more of a standard list, but I think that this dragon package is really, really powerful. I do like the
Mhm.
inclusion of Bone Drake a lot.
Yeah, Brain Drake is. I agree. Like, Primordial Drake feels so clunky. Like, you just keep it there for Dragon. Like, doing 2 damage to everything is like not good when you're trying to develop. Um, like by turn 8, you want to have like a lot of minions. You know.
Yeah. I like the double scale worm. That's pretty good. I don't like that we have no silence,
Hmm.
and I'm not really a big fan of Serenite. Right now, there's not too much aggro going around,
Yeah, I
and the
agree.
fact that it can't get buffed up and then do the double buffs anymore kind of
Hmm.
Serenite's kind of fallen off my radar of really strong cards. So I think that in the list you just linked, the only cards we can really change up are Serenite.
Hmm. What
And
did you? What would you change for like Spellbreakers?
yeah, I think definitely at least one Spellbreaker, and then probably just another like early game-ish card. Because what I've realized, like even though you're even Paladin, so you get to play 1/1s for every turn,
Hmm.
um, the Dragon Shell seems like its 2 drops feel a lot worse.
Yeah, the Cathedral Gargoyle is actually pretty nuts when you get it.
Um, I'm probably just throwing a wild pyro because this list doesn't run pyromancer. That's why it felt
Hmm.
so weird. I think that
Yeah,
wild
that's
pyro
true.
is just really good because you can use it in the early game if you want to, and then it's also good with your equalities later on. But I think that going forward, this dragon list is probably going to be the more common kind of even
Yeah, I
paladin.
think it's pretty good.
The I just think the silver sword Ebon dragonsmith combo is incredible. Like being able to get a turn 6 silver sword just sets your mid game up so well.
Yeah, and also like it has some really good synergy with Tam because you Tam and then once you swing, all your minions become 4/4s, and you get like the craziest value trades.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even consider that. I think in this list, Mojo Master is definitely necessary though, because a lot of the time,
Hmm.
if you get to the late game, they can start to outvalue you or combo you.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like this list a lot more than the list that I originally linked to you.
so I just changed out one of the oozes for sorry one of the Serenites for Spellbreaker, and the other one
The other one for a pyro probably.
yeah.
Yeah,
Do you want to give that a shot?
yeah. Let's give this deck a couple games and see how it goes, because then we'll have a little bit of experience with both, and we can figure out which feels actually better.
Hmm. I think um, like the times where you have absolutely no dragons is very like minimal, and you like because of that you never mulligan with the intention of keeping a dragon so that you can get like your minions to get more value. So
I I
it
agree with
doesn't
that.
feel too clunky, yeah.
I agree with that,
Um,
especially since you run fairy dragons, which are both good in the early game and a dragon activator.
yeah.
So I think I like just fairy.
Yeah, me too.
Nice. This is pretty good.
Hmm.
We have turned our curse into our strength.
Pretty nice. Pretty sure against priest, if it's clone priest, like we're super favored if we can smoke them.
Yeah.
I think most priests we can just smoke. I would play
Basically,
God play I could play fairy. Fairy's lost.
I think since since we have another dragon already to activate the gargoyle, we can just go
Yeah.
fairy this turn.
Yeah, it's more stats, right?
Okay, so it's Clone Priest. That's really good for us.
Mhm.
I think that we probably just
Gargoyle
gargoyle and
slap
then hit
face.
everything face.
Yeah.
Reporting for duty.
It's pretty annoying. It's fine though. Oh, I could just drop both. I think that's the play.
I think that's the play as well.
Next turn he could mass hysteria. In which case, either way, I should just go or face. I'm not sure if I want to play a dude.
In the case
I
of
think-
Mass Hysteria, I
yeah.
think you want to trade your 3/1 into the 2/2.
Uh,
Because then Mass Hysteria, if you don't dude, will still keep you with a 2/2. The problem is if you have a small board, you won't Mass Hysteria.
yeah,
I think just dude and then all face is probably fine, and just try not to play around Mass Hysteria. Clone Priest is a really hard matchup for this deck.
yeah. It's like if he can stabilize, then you just lose.
Yeah. He has double Spirit Lash, double Scream, double Mass Hysteria. That's really difficult to deal with.
Yeah, you kind of just have to like smoke him and hope and have the answers. Ooh, okay. Let me think. What should I have? 3, 5, 3, 5, 8, 9. How do you like? I see two plays, right? It's a party, and then just jam phase. The other one is Backward Steed, probably the Fairy Drake. Oh,
I think I like Equality, trade the 1/1 and then hit everything face.
and then summon another dude.
Yeah. This is like a fairly small board, so he might not want to AoE. If he AoEs, this sets up for our Lich King pretty soon.
Yeah, he could also coin scream, but
Okay, that's fine. Ooh,
yeah, that's the second one.
yeah. Damn. Alright, well we only have one play here pretty much.
Reporting for duty.
Oh no. Oh no. That's really unfortunate.
Oh my god.
Alright, so we need equality. Oh yikes, now he has either a Silver Sword or a Lich King probably.
Yeah, this deck is just so ridiculous.
Alright, so we did not
insane.
find second equality. So our only play is Lich King and hope that we're not dead. God, Lyra's so cool. It
Yeah,
feels
Lyra's
so
yeah.
bad to play against, but Lyra's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like Clone Priest is really good because most aggro matchups, which are bad, it's not like 100% loss. There's always like some way where you can get off a cool Lyra combo or like maybe even like smoking down. Okay.
Oh, are we just dead to burst?
He should have enough mana if he has the cards, right? Oh, he's setting up for. Oh, what a play!
Hmm. That was interesting. Alright, so I think we Death and Decay and then silence his Lyra?
Yeah.
You can probably just play your ooze too. Just try to get
Yeah.
stats on the board. At this point, I'm pretty sure the game is just lost. But
Yeah, I agree. He's got too much value.
if we find our other equality, we have a chance to come back. But we need it like now.
Yeah, he surprisingly like he didn't have enough burst.
I know he had double Radiant and Malagos, and we didn't die. But
Yeah. Oh, consecrate.
I'll just say Consecrate 2 silver hero power, I guess.
Yep. We're dead to like a lot of things.
Yeah. I mean, he needs 2 burst spells, cause like he showed that he didn't have any burst. So unless he found one pretty recently, which he did. That's unlucky. I don't think there was too much we could do that game though. That kind of just spiraled out of control. But that's what happens against Clone Priest. So let's do another game or two of this and try to get more representative matches.
Yeah. The only thing I think we could have done different is maybe not equality so he couldn't get off the Spirit Lash. But even then, I think like that was a very like minor thing.
Yeah, I think that play was still correct. It just happened that he had the second Spirit Lash. Because, like,
Yeah.
it became better for us since he had already used one.
I would get rid of everything except for the two drops.
I think I would just get rid of Sword. I like Scaleworm. It's pretty good against Odd. And then it also activates your... Oh, wait. Scaleworm's not a dragon, huh? Oops.
No, it's not. No.
Okay. That was probably bad by me.
It's all good. I think we might. Oh, we're not even messing.
Oh, it's not Odd, so... I think it's good for us that it's not Odd.
I'm not sure of the matchup actually. I still think we play a 2-drop tempo out, and maybe one of the Witch Doctors.
I think that if we're against a mage that's not odd, it's going to have a lot of value in it. So I think getting these extra spells is going to be really important. So if we're going to play a 2-drop, I would just play out the Cathedral.
Okay. Yeah, I see what you mean. Naked Cathedral.
Feels good, dude. This guy's so confused. Yikes. I think we pretty much just passed this turn with a hero power. I don't think it's worth expending resources, so...
Punch or no?
I don't think so.
Oh,
Ooh.
oh, actually no, that's normal.
Dang, we still haven't found a dragon. I guess we just drew silver this turn, though. Once we find our dragon, our hand gets so much better.
Yeah. Jaina.
Yeah, really. Hopefully it's not something good. Yikes. Alright, at this point I think we probably just play out the scale, worm in a hero power, and kill his guy. We saved our coin though, which could eventually set up for an early Lich King, which is pretty good.
I don't even know what this guy's playing. I didn't know Big Spell Mage played the Bright at Scale.
Some of them do. It's not super common, but they try to high roll with like Jainas and stuff, so.
Is there anything to even silence?
Yeah, I think that this is probably your silence target. I don't think that they're gonna run anything else.
So what am I doing? I'm gonna do. Are we saving the Witch Doctors, you reckon?
Yeah, I think we just go silence and hero power.
Okay, so what position I play?
If we're able to pick up a dragon, we're in a good spot. If we pick up Mojo Master, that's pretty good too, because we can try to delay the Jaina that's probably in his hand. He might run Astromancers, so we have to worry about that too. Okay, 5 mana Blizzard. Oh wow. Alright, well this is a pretty easy just pass turn since he has a Doomsayer up. And then next turn we can just stream Lich King.
One more chance for Dragon.
Wait, what?
Wait,
why does
Big Spell Mage run it?
Yeah, I don't really know why he has that in his deck. What the hell? That's really weird.
I could coin out. No, the coin out. Where are all our dragons at?
Yeah, really. I'm thinking.
Well, I could just do here. Coin up the Spike with Seed.
I'm okay with that. It gets punished by Polymorph, but at this point our hand is pretty bad, so we just have to hope he doesn't have it.
And if he polymorphs that, then the Witch King gets. Right.
That's true as well, yeah. I don't really know why he runs this. This is really not what I expected to see.
I think he might be. Yeah, I have no idea.
Hey, we finally found some dragons. Alright. So, I'm thinking that we just start with a fire tree and see what we get. Rebuke is okay for later. Level up is not going to be very good. Lay on hands is very meh. So I guess we take a rebuke, because then later on when we set up a really big board... Oh, like on our Sunkeeper turn we can rebuke, which is really good.
Yeah. Maybe we just...
I think we just Fire Tree again.
Dinosaurs?
Yeah, I think Dino Size is right.
And
Probably just
Do
hero
we
power
want
trade
to play
or
the
hero power face.
Gargoyle?
I think we want to save Gargoyle for our Sunkeeper turn, just as a 3/3 with Taunt and Divine Shield.
Sure.
If he doesn't clear here, okay, there's the Polymorph, so our Lich King is better now. This is definitely looking like our Sunkeeper turn.
If you guys face, yeah. Okay.
So, I like Sunkeeper and Cathedral, yeah.
Double trade, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Next turn, 2 off lethal with the dino size.
Ooh, yeah. This is looking like a, maybe a Blizzard turn?
Yeah, or he could, yeah, I don't know.
Oh, Dragon's Fury, okay.
Into Flame Strike.
Oh, nice, our
Oh.
3/1 lives.
That's huge.
I think we just turned that into a 10/10 then.
Sure. Yeah, I like
Yep.
that.
I like that. Because then if he wastes removal on that, then our Lich King gets to live.
He'll
Also,
have to,
next turn we can
he'll
Lich
have
King
to,
Rebuke, which is really strong.
yeah. He has to Meteor, right? Yeah.
Pretty much. Meteor, potentially Voodoo Doll. Second Polymorph. Running Mountain Giants in this list feels really weird. I'm surprised he ran those.
Yeah, me too. Another good thing about these 2 drops like this deck is the secrets are so much better.
Yeah. It's annoying.
Might be a Drake turn. Damn.
Well, he's not. If we cast Rebuke, he's not gonna be able to play any spells. So I kind of like
True.
going Lich King Rebuke because he's not gonna gain any armor, and we still get our Lich King
Yeah.
out.
I agree.
So he has to find a way without spells to kill this, which basically means he needs Voodoo Doll. Or I guess he can still polymorph for 9.
Yeah, but even then, like, that's pretty good. And he's already used one, so.
Yeah.
Access denied. Unity, precision, perfection.
Oh, wow.
That's one way to clear. That was really interesting.
How do you like a quality Primordial Drake?
I think that that's probably our best play.
V-Chain is now? That's pretty good. Surprised we haven't got our one of our weapons yet, like not a single one.
Yeah. Once we draw Silver Sword, our hand becomes a lot better because it's just a bunch of these little shitty minions. The problem is he has a Flame Strike in hand, so we have to try and bait that out.
Mm-hmm.
What other big threats do we have in our deck? We have double Bone Drake still.
Yeah, Bone Drake and Tyrion's, right? The hell?
That's...
Oh, actually, no,
Oh,
it's fine.
he's setting up to kill our Primordial and hit us for 8, so we have to kill this 8/8 this
Yeah.
turn.
Full quality.
Do you want to just go like equality trade and then go 4 to hero power?
Sure.
Yeah, so I think then we can just play out a 4 mana 3/4 and then an ooze and a 1/1. Interesting game. There. Okay, so we baited out 1 Flame Strike, so now if we draw Silver Sword, then that's really good for us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now he has a Blizzard.
Yeah, big spell mage is pretty annoying.
Yeah. I think just Gen hero power is probably fine.
Yep, like that.
Once we draw these Bone Drakes, those will be pretty strong. Once we draw Silver Swords, those will be pretty strong, so... That's 4 out of 11 for really good cards.
Even the Avenging Wraths, right? That's 8 damage.
Oh yeah, we have an Avenging Wrath in there too.
8 damage plus 3, 11, yeah. Okay, that's the second one. So he still has 1 point more.
Ooh.
What the hell?
Alright. Hey, that's pretty good.
So if it's explosive ones, I take 1.
Yeah, I think that we start with Death and Decay to see if it's counterspell. Alright,
Okay.
and then we play Mojo and Hero Power. Ooh. That's really bad.
We got played.
Luckily, that deck doesn't run like any burst, so we just need a way to deal with the 5/5, which we didn't draw. Alright.
That's GG.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that game was just like all in draws, so I don't think we
Yeah.
misplayed anything.
That's to say, I don't think there was a turn that we like specifically misplayed. Let's try and do one more and see if we can actually like get the deck to work how it should, and then we can call it. But I think our original Even Paladin games were really good, so I think that if you're looking to like rank up, that's probably the list you want to use.
Okay.
And then we piloted that pretty well, so I think, you know, you're in a good position to get some wins.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay. So, I think I'm okay with just throwing away Zihi and keeping everything else. Bone Drink is worth considering throwing away, but considering last game we didn't have a Dragon all game,
Paranoid, yeah. Okay. Probably even, right?
yeah, it's most likely even.
Yeah.
It's not even, okay. So that means it could be either a weird Shudderwalk list, or Burn Shaman, or like mid-range Shaman.
Just go for it.
Yeah, it trades 2 for 1, so that's okay. I wonder what this is. I don't think I've actually seen a Shaman that's not even that runs Menacing Nimbus, so it might just be a weird elemental Shaman.
could be the snow giant one.
Lightning bolt. Okay. I think this is most likely a just like mid-range shaman that runs Thunderhead and like Bloodlust.
Yeah. Oh,
So that
Just
list
Duke.
would probably run Lickum, so we can potentially hold Acidic if you want, but
Yeah.
playing it out for tempo is also fine.
I kind of like just playing a dude here,
Okay, I like that too.
just because worst case scenario I can consecrate.
Yeah. That makes sense. That's a really weak turn. I think I'm okay with just passing here, because if he fungals, then we can always equality consecrate.
Okay.
I think overall this is probably a good matchup for us, whatever this is.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to start worrying a little bit about Bloodlust, but Bloodlust isn't lethal, so I think I like coin Bone Drake.
Me too.
If we ever draw an Ebon, that's really good because it'll reduce our Silver Sword. Malagos is interesting. My first reaction is just to play Zihi just as a 5/5 because he can test his Fire Elemental. If we do that, are we dead to Bloodlust? So this is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So we would be alive against Bloodlust. If you want to take the really safe route, we can equality consecrate this, but I think that it's probably just better to Zihi and then we're not dead to Bloodlust. We can contest his 6/5 and we get to save our clear. If we get into the late game and our Malagos sticks, then that means our second consecrate is going to be pretty huge.
Yeah, and even if we don't get that off, like just a 4/12 body is like really solid.
Yeah. Okay, so this is fine. Alright, I think at this point we probably have to equality consecrate this board.
Yeah, I agree.
Flame Tongue and a 6 damage minion is pretty scary. I think we found the issue with playing the dragon list is that like your draws just don't line up very often.
Fairy into true silver hero power.
Yep, I think so.
I don't know, Serenade's like not the strongest turn ever, so.
I mean, we're starting to get to the late game where we probably have an edge. Especially if like our board survives, we can start going off with Silver Sword. So I'm not feeling too bad about our situation. Oh wow, that I wasn't expecting. This is a really interesting list.
I think we just
I think we're most of the time dead, but we hit the Serenite, and then we go like Ebon, Ooze, Hero Power, and then hope we're not dead.
Does this not from Spybridge? Yeah, it does.
Maybe double it than might.
Wow.
Dang.
Yeah, I think the problem with this is you. What's the spells? There's no like blessing of kings. So like yeah, I think that's the problem with it.
Yeah, I think you just need your draws to line up for your mid game to work, and that doesn't
Yeah.
happen enough to where it's really bad.
Yeah.
I think the idea is really interesting,
Yeah.
but I don't know how you can like fix it. But I do think that the Even Paladin that we came up with is pretty standard. It's pretty good. It has a little bit
Mhm.
of like it has a lot of little synergies within it. So you have the entire
Mhm.
Corpse Sager package. Corpse Sager Blessing of Kings can be a win conditional by itself. Against aggro, you have Wild Pyro with the Hydrologist secrets. Against control, you can go late with Valenier and Mojo Master. So
Mhm.
I think the list that we came up with, and in case you don't have it saved, I'll link it to one more time. I think this is a very good. I think this is the list that if you want to play Even Paladin, that you should probably be playing.
Yep. That's the one I'm gonna try. Yeah.
Yep. All right. Cool. Anything else you wanted to cover or like questions or anything like that?
No, that was really helpful. I think I'll give it a try. The new list and like update you how I go, and then maybe we can go on there to another archetype.
Okay, that sounds good to me.
Sounds good. All right. Have a good have a good day for you.
All right, I'll see you around, man.
Okay, Jeff. Thank you.
All right, see you. All right, so closing thoughts for Even Paladin. I think that this list is very strong. Like I was telling him, you have Corpse Taker into Blessing of Kings kind of being a win condition all its own. So one of the games that we played, we highlighted trying to like really make sure we got that synergy. The game against the Odd Mage. So that being a win condition by itself is really strong. It means that against control or slower decks, you can get a really big push in the mid game. Um, Along with that, against control, you have stuff like Mojo Master and Valenier to try and go late, so you can delay them as well as get yourself infinite swings with this, because there's not a lot of polymorph type removal going around or silence. Um, Bone Mare helps shore up that late game as well. It's good versus both aggro and control, because getting the extra burst is something they might not play around. Bone Mare is not super common right now in control matchups. And against aggro, it's a taunt, so that's cool. Running both Lich King and Tyrion feels a little weird, but they both kind of have their place. I think that Tyrion, out of this entire list, is one of the easiest cuts to make, probably to try and fit another like mid-game card, so like a second Avenging Wrath or like a second Argent Commander, or some sort of tech card like that. Anything else that I wanted to touch upon? Just make sure you always have an equality for either your Wild Pyro, Consecrate. Equality Avenging Wrath is a really good way to close out games as well, because you can most of the time clear an entire board as well as doing a little bit of damage to face, or if they only have one minion, then that's, 6 or 7 damage to face and then 1 damage to a minion, so that's pretty cool. Um, the most important thing about Even Paladin is in your mid-game turns. So turns like 3 to 7, you really have to use your resources as efficiently as possible. So even if a play really calls out to you, if it's at all inefficient, it's typically incorrect. So it's best to play just kind of by the books. Play around removal. The hydrologists are really good, I think. For a long time, I was cutting them from Even Paladin lists just because I didn't think it had enough impact. But the secrets give you a lot of different like lines of play to consider, and from a 2-drop, it's mostly there just to help the early game. But the fact that it's so versatile that it allows you to change up your game plan is really good. So going forward, I think any card, like if you're in any deck, that is just playing 2 drops kind of to survive the early game, looking for stuff that gives you extra value or gives you ways to play the remainder of your game differently is really, really strong. But yeah, so thank you guys for, sticking through the coaching session. In the description box below, there will be a link to this deck code as well as the dragon deck code that we used. Make sure that you like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment. In the description box below, there will be the link to the Discord. So, as you can tell, he and I were on Discord the entire time. The way the coaching sessions work is we actually jump in a private call just because it's easier. But we have a Discord server that's all about coaching. It has, I think, about 35 people in it right now. So people hop in, hop out. You can ask any questions you want. There's a couple different channels for specifics. And then you also get content updates. It's easier to communicate with us about if you want coaching sessions, and we're just kind of trying to grow the community. So that's all cool. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz, and I will see you guys next video. And as for the stream, we're actually going to cut that as well. So I plan on starting to get into a stream schedule. That stream schedule is currently unknown, but it will most likely be mostly in the mornings or late at night. Mornings will it's probably going to be like start at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, stuff like that. But there will also be sometimes night streams, so look out for that. Follow the Twitch channel if you want, and I will see everyone later on.